Hi everybody, it's me, Kyra, with Just Carolyn, and today we are going to be making a collar for a school uniform. So right here I have my pattern. You can buy a pattern at like Joann's or something, or you can make your own. So how I made mine is I measured the distance that I wanted the V, where the collar goes, to be on a shirt. And then I basically measured it out on a pattern, and it like fits around the shirt. Basic stuff. So here I have my two fabrics that I'm going to be using. You need some scissors, some bias tape. The red is for Rei and the white is for Minako. So I'm going to show you two ways that I do it. In this method, I am laying down the pattern on the fabric flat and pinning it. It's just, basic stuff. I like to do it this way sometimes because I feel like I use less fabric when I lay it out and cut it like this, because it really doesn't take up that much room. And I feel like I really waste fabric when it comes to using the other parts. So yeah, just pin all the way around the fabric and make sure that it's nice and steady and sturdy and lined up with the edges. If you put it on the edge instead of like plopping it in the middle of the thing like I did. Well, like I put mine on the edge. And then I like to cut off the piece completely before I cut it, so it's easier to work with. And then just cut. Snip. Also, I put a seam allowance into my pattern when I made it. So if you have a pattern, I have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So if you make your own pattern, you can put your own seam allowance in there, or you can cut it where, that you have the seam allowance in it, because you're going to have to sew it, obviously. So yeah. I also suggest saving the middle piece that you cut out, because you can use that to do the sleeves if you're doing like Minako from Sailor Moon, or Usagi, because the sleeves have to be different from the shirt, but they match the collar, so it'd be easier just to do that. But Rei doesn't even have she has sleeves on her shirt, but she doesn't have like a separate color sleevage on the bottom of her shirt. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you the other way that you could cut your pattern out for your collar. You could do what I'm doing with this blue fabric for Minako, is folding it in half and laying it out. Make sure that your sides where your fold is lined up, because that's where you're going to be putting it, and you want two that are the same size, so you want to make sure that you get it on the fold. So you turn it and put the part of your pattern that is a fold on the fold. Like, you don't want to put the other side, because then it'll be weird. So that's what I'm doing, and then you just pin it into place. After you're done pinning it, make sure you cut it out nicely. fabric together. It depends. Like if you're making a collar for like a Sailor Scout and you were using one side, you would want your good sides to touch, just like any other. But since this is cotton and the other one is broadcloth and they are the same on both sides, it really doesn't matter which sides you pin together. Now that you have it all pinned together, I'm going to show you where to sew. So you sew around the collar and then leave a space on the inside so you can flip it inside out. Alright, now here I'm just sewing along the edge of my fabric using a regular needle and a straight stitch because obviously that's what we're doing. I'm using black thread for this, but you could use thread that's the same color. I'm just using black because it's going to be flipped inside out and you're not going to see the inside anyway, so there was no use in like getting brown stuff to do it with. And so what you're going to do is you're going to want to make sure that you point your corners and that you point the ends of the collar where they meet. Okay, so now I am sewing on the bias tape, which details the, collar. For Minako, she has one line of white. So what I did was I pinned it where I wanted it on the V of the collar only, and then I just freely moved it around the fabric because it's easier that way. I'm using a double needle also because it's thicker and it just makes the thinner bias tape like this stay down better because it gets kind of like both sides, which is really awesome and I really like. And so I go down, 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 down and around and just move it to the spacing that I want as I go, to make sure that it's in the right position. And that's really what it's all about. Okay, so then when I get to the corners, instead of clipping it and moving, I fold it into a triangle and then slide it underneath it so it creates a right angle. And then I sew down the angle, turn it, and then keep going. And then I do the same thing on the other side. And then here I take the two parts that meet on the collar and I put the thing and fold it in together on the seam line. Then I take my bias tape and I match it up so that the two sides will be matching. So like they meet at the same angle on the collar. And then I sew it all to the end. And here for Rei's, I'm sewing the length of the bias tape just right on top of it and sewing it on the edge. And I do the same folding method for the corners and go all the way around it on the edge. And that is how I make my collars for my Japanese school uniforms. So, I hope you guys have a super awesome day, and thanks for watching. Bye!